Hello, I'm Davia Chambers at Speyside Overlooking Restaurant and Bar, which is owned by Tony Melville. We're almost 2 months into 2016. How are you doing with your New Year's resolutions? Well, we're keeping one of ours. As promised, all month long it's our Villages tour, and this week we're in Speyside on the leeward side of the island. We're making a few stops, so stick around, there's more to come. This is Let's Talk Tobago. In the news, community outreach in Moriah. Finally, a disaster relief warehouse. And later, a contest for eco-photographers. These and more stories when Let's Talk Tobago continues.
Going to Barbados? Why continue to pay high prices when you can get there for only US $231.95, all taxes included? Yes, you heard right. You can now travel to Barbados from Tobago for a mere US $231.95 on Gold's weekly service. So if you're going to Barbados for business, the beach, crop over, or attending university, stop wasting your money on those other high-priced airlines and get there for a fraction of the cost. To book, just log on to www.vogel.com.br. Barbados just got closer.
I'm at Gemma's Seaview Kitchen, which is owned by Gemma Seeley. There's no limit to food here, as Gemma's is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. In our first story, Crystal George takes us to Moriah for another in the series of community outreach meetings across the island. Take a look.
Residents from Moriah, Mason Hall and Providence traveled to the Moriah Community Center for their chance to be heard. It was the first in a series of public meetings to bring updates to the public and listen to their concerns. They made sure their many concerns were addressed in a meeting lasting just under 3 hours.
We are placed here as your servants to cater to your needs. And that's one of the main reasons why we are here tonight, to hear what your needs are so that we can cater to them.
Agriculture and infrastructure were the two main topics for discussion. Both Chief Secretary Orvin London and the Secretary in the Division of Infrastructure and Public Utilities, Gary Melville, fielded questions from the crowd.
I want our representative, Mr. Cunningham, to look into our issue. Let's do a reevaluation of the Indian Walk Estate. There are about over 20-something person farming there, and mostly about 10 acres of land. And we need to do our evaluation and see if we could do a redistribution of the land.
We are willing to give land to serious people who want to work the land. But in order for us to give out land, people have to demonstrate that they have the capacity and they have the intent to work the land to their own benefit and the benefit of the people of Tobago.
There are 2 bridges on the north side road, one for Mason Hall and one for Moriah. The one for Moriah, there's a problem on that's the northern side. I don't know what the engineers and so on are doing about that.
A division would have looked at that bridge and would have earmarked it for replacement. What we're trying to do is to ensure we have a good enough maintenance program for the bridges. That particular bridge, I know that they should be doing a visit and review of that sometime very soon, because it's not very likely that we'll be able to build a new bridge outside of 2 years.
The next community meeting will be held at the Mount St. George Community Center on Tuesday, February 23rd at 6:30 p.m. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
Gemma started as a small business with just 1 table. Imagine that. And this treehouse, it was inspired by the customers. They would take their food and eat it in the tree. You know, God is a Trini, as the saying goes. Although Hurricane Ivan hit us in 2004, we've been spared many natural disasters, but we must maintain readiness. We're going to hear what TEMA is up to.
It's over 4,000 square feet, has a loading dock to accommodate large deliveries, and is the central hub for the receipt of goods for distribution in the event of a natural disaster or other national emergencies. It's the Tobago Emergency Management Agency's Tobago Disaster Relief Warehouse, sitting on 1.7 hectares of land in Signal Hill provided by the Tobago House of Assembly.
Over the past 10 years, TEMA have been faced with many challenges as outlined earlier. Storage at Fairfield Complex have always been a challenge, and also where our Emergency Operations Center is located. Also, we have had our challenges at Tikoswaf, at Shore Park.
The Tobago Disaster Relief Warehouse has been in the works for some time. It started with a conversation in 2012 between the Tobago House of Assembly and the United States Embassy. Construction began in April 2015 and was completed just last month. Today, it's ready to be loaded with relief items.
This is indeed an historic day in the records of our commodity building and disaster management on the island. This partnership has proven fruitful, and Tobagonians will deservedly benefit from this very important venture. And I'm quite well assured that our professional logistics team stands ready to manage this facility with the necessary tools and technology that will allow for a number of things: consignment management, sorting, storage, maintenance, more importantly, accountability, and effective distribution of all emergency items when called upon.
The worthy cause will ensure that residents are provided with the necessary resources in the case of an emergency.
What you see before you today is not a building, but it's a symbol of the relationship between the United States and Trinidad and Tobago, a symbol that we know will stand for quite a while and will assist all of your citizens in the time of need.
The Tobago Disaster Relief Warehouse was constructed at a cost of $6.75 million. I'm Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
Owner Gemma Seeley learned the art of cooking from her cousin. She taught her everything, and after 20 years of cooking for others, she opened her own restaurant. Now, eating well sustains you, but more simple than that, breathing is life. A repurposed facility under the TRHA is saving lives through hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Here's Omadara Mills with our next report.
Hyperbaric oxygen therapy involves breathing pure oxygen in a pressurized chamber such as the one behind me. Now, when this facility was opened about 16 years ago, it was used to treat mainly decompression sickness, a side effect of scuba diving. But the focus has changed. As of January this year, the facility was recommissioned to treat patients with wounds that aren't healing fast enough.
The chamber is ready to decompress the patient, but the oxygen under pressure is the treatment, because oxygen goes into your body at depth 6 times faster than if you're at the surface you're breathing it. What it does, it stops all the bacteria, it heals in enriching the tissue, so it could get enhancement in healing.
The hyperbaric chamber is the only one of its kind in the public healthcare system in the country. Thus far, 2 patients have been successfully treated after having undergone several 90-minute sessions. Another 5 patients are still in treatment, all with favorable progress reports.
Some of them sleep better at night. Before they couldn't. The oxygen has really helped the enhancement of the wound, because we deal with Dr. Alling at the wound care treatment in Bacalet. So she dresses the wounds, sees the wounds, and we treat the wounds. So when they go back for dressing, I get she either sends me pictures or tell me, look, the wound is healing fine, it's doing good.
Currently, the Tobago Regional Health Authority, TRHA, and the Division of Health and Social Services are in charge of the facility, which is located at Roxborough. That's because research has shown that there are many benefits of this kind of therapy for patients who suffer from chronic illnesses such as diabetes as well as first-degree and radiation burns.
We don't have to amputate your legs anymore. Once you get proper treatment, diabetes and so forth, it'll heal like the older people that have, there's a high case of diabetics in the island here. So it will help out Tobagonians in terms of the treatment is free for Tobagonians. And it's also, some of these wounds are 18 years old. Some of these people have these wounds 18 years, 2 years, 3 years. So it's like a lifeline for them.
The chamber is certified annually, but the division and the TRHA intend to do more and have the facility internationally accredited by the end of this year. I'm Omadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
On the other side of the break, we have news about the ECCE Principals Seminar. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hey, why don't you step into the Scarborough Library facility? It has all the knowledge of our land, people and heritage that you just won't find online. The Scarborough Library facility is now open. Tobago Library Services. Information inspires innovation.
Welcome back. I'm Davia Chambers at Gemma's Seaview Kitchen, a local restaurant in Speyside which has an amazing view. Next, enriching early childhood care and education from the top down was the focus at a conference for ECCE principals. More in this next story.
Nurturing 55 pupils and working with 4 teachers can be challenging. So 12 early childhood care and education ECCE principals welcomed the chance to get training and support. They participated in a conference that focused on improving their administrative skills.
It would have given me an idea how to move forward. We are in the whole rebranding process of ECCE in Tobago, and it gives the administrators/principals an idea how to do that in a more cohesive manner so that all the government and government-assisted schools will be on the same level.
The interactive 2-day seminar was an initiative of the Division of Education, Youth Affairs and Sport. They discussed the qualities of a good administrator, the ideal environment for a functional school, and planning ECCE school activities and lessons.
Teachers in the early childhood not just there to babysit. And it's not just go preschool, they ain't teaching nothing there, go and stay until whatever time. It's well structured and well organized. So when we are now getting our principals on board so that they would be able to help teachers structure lesson and structure teaching so that the children would have optimum out of their environment when they get to school every day.
The workshop also addressed the importance of changing the image of early childhood care on the island, a strategy that will involve everyone in the community.
So what we really want to do is set the foundation right, give them a strong foundation upon which now to build anything they want. And we want parents to know you are partners of this process. So the teachers will do their part, but home, family, parents, you must do your part. We want the shopkeeper to know he has a part to play, the man on the street, everybody as stakeholders in early childhood.
Back in November last year, the division adopted 12 early childhood centers on the island. Besides the principals' conference, the division will put on workshops for the teachers and continue to monitor the school's operations. I'm Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
I'm here at Manta Lodge, one of Tobago's prime renovation projects. Now, if you want a great dive experience, consider Speyside Village. It has 3 of the most popular dive sites on the island: Japanese Gardens, Angel Reef, and the Cathedral. After a 3-year hiatus, student musicians may once again showcase their talents at the National Biennial Music Festival. And how many schools in Tobago will compete? Find out in this next story.
This year, 35 schools in Tobago are vying for the chance to compete at the finals of the National Biennial Music Festival. The categories include vocals, piano, recorder, steel pan, and woodwind instruments. The Division of Education, Youth Affairs and Sport sees the competition as an avenue to develop the musical abilities of our young ones.
It provides the breeding ground, or that start, that initiation into a career in the arts, basically. That's how we see it. That's why the division would have invested approximately $1.1 million into this activity, so that we will lay that groundwork for our future musicians, right, and artists, as it were.
The students participate in the classical or folk classes. They must attain a particular score in order to qualify for the national finals. So there's the chance that hundreds can represent the island in Trinidad.
I wish all the children the best. Hope all could qualify and, challenge us to cater for 1,750 children going to Trinidad. It's my view that we have the talent, we have the capacity, we could do it.
One of the reasons for the high number of participants in the Tobago leg is the THA Youth Music Festival, which occurred 2 years ago when the national festival was on a hiatus.
Tobago House of Assembly did their own product in 2014. What that did actually is to spur the schools and the children on. This is why we have this large amount of registrations now. So, we will like to see each school, every school get involved.
In addition to facilitating the training and the performances in Tobago, the division provides transportation and other support for the students who advance to the finals in Trinidad so they can perform at their best. I'm Umadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
One of the most attractive dive sites in Speyside is known as Japanese Gardens. Its name is derived from the corals that resemble Japanese bonsai trees. So, do you love the outdoors? Taking pictures of the environment? How about adventure? Well, in this next story, Caroline Wallace tells us about a contest with an interesting prize. Take a look.
These are wetlands. They are the link between land and water, and some of the most productive ecosystems in the world. Wetlands provide a habitat for a number of wildlife and plants. And if you're into photography and a nature lover, you can win a trip to any wetlands of your choice across the world.
We have a photo contest. It's for the ages 15 to 24. They have an opportunity to go to any wetland of their choice and to take a couple of photos and upload it on the Ramsar link. Right, and if they're successful, they have an opportunity to win the first prize, which is a trip to any international wetlands of their choice.
The Wetlands Photo Contest, hosted by the Division of Agriculture, Marine Affairs, Marketing and the Environment, is a part of the 2016 World Wetlands Day celebrations in Tobago. It runs from February 2nd to March 2nd, 2016.
It is judged by the number of persons who actually vote for you, in addition to the screening committee of the Ramsar organization. Right? So the more persons you have logging onto the site and voting on your photo, it will give you a greater chance of actually winning.
Wetlands also act like sponges. They hold floodwaters and keep rivers at normal levels. Wetlands filter and purify water as it flows through the wetland system. It's important information like this that Ms. Ramsey hopes all participants in the contest will learn.
Well, I basically want people to see what we have in Tobago in terms of wetlands, the importance of wetlands, working along with the department in terms of conservation efforts, and appreciating what they have, so they take ownership and they take pride in what they have and help us manage and protect it.
The theme for World Wetlands Day this year is Wetlands for Our Future, Sustainable Livelihoods. I'm Caroline Wallace for Let's Talk Tobago.
Coming up, Mason Hall Police Youth Club is in the news. See you after the break.
The Tobago House of Assembly has a plan, the Comprehensive Economic Development Plan, CEDP, and it is for all of us. Are you ready to benefit from higher levels of development in Tobago and a higher standard of living?
We ready!
The priority areas are branding Tobago, clean, green, safe and serene, business development and entrepreneurship.
Are you ready?
Human capital development.
I'm ready.
Social development and resilience.
I'm ready.
Improved infrastructure and utilities. Enhanced safety and security.
I'm ready.
Environmental sustainability. Tourism.
Are you ready?
Marine resources and forestry.
Are you ready?
Good governance and institutional reform.
The CEDP is ready. Join us and get on board.
Let's travel the island, straight back to my land, even to Thailand.
Thanks for staying with us. Diving is open to both children and adults. Angel Reef, home to trumpetfish, Spanish hogfish and red night shrimp, is shallow enough for snorkeling, and divers enjoy night diving at this site. The call by Prime Minister Rowley for ministers to make personal charitable contributions is a call that is also being answered right here in Tobago. Our next story is one about a deserving group that benefited from a donation.
The Mason Hall Police Youth Club has been around for the past 15 years, engaging our youths in cultural, educational and sporting activities that help to make them upstanding citizens. With that vision and the contributions they've made to Tobago's development, the club is the first group that's getting 5% of the Chief Secretary's salary, a donation that will go towards their latest sporting initiatives.
We have a group exchange project. Also, we have an athletic program, more or less. I'm preparing roughly about 20 athletes to Carifta trials. So it would help in that. Plus, we have a dance group and that sort of thing. So any way possible to develop the young kids.
And with the many activities put on by the club, the organizers welcome the support.
It's indeed a great feeling. The club has embarked on quite a lot of projects, and having been chosen by the Chief Secretary, it's an honorable feeling.
The other secretaries of the Assembly have also agreed to give a percentage of their salaries to NGOs, groups or individuals who they assess are in need of such support.
It's very good of them. There are quite a lot of unfortunate people, and more or less with these groups trying to assist the less fortunate, it's the right way to go.
The Calder Hall Football Club and the Mason Hall Sports and Soccer School are the other groups to receive the 5% donations in the next 2 months. I'm Omar Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
Now, Speyside is known for diving, and a favorite spot for mantas is the Cathedral, which is also known as the Flying Manta Reef. Orchestral music has a place in the musical culture, and we follow this next story about the nurture and investment in this genre. Have a look.
The development of orchestral music in Tobago is a major priority of the Division of Community Development and Culture. In keeping with this mandate, the division recently handed over 32 musical instruments and 41 music stands to the God's Messengers Orchestra of Calder Hall. The handing over was part of the developmental program in the arts created by the division to empower groups within the community so they may be able to take up the responsibility of educating and attracting young people within their area to become versed in various forms of the arts. President of the group, Aldrin Phillips, spoke about how elated he was to have received the instruments on behalf of his group.
God's Messengers has been around for 11 years now, and we have seen in the past what these instruments can do to a young person. God's Messengers Orchestra was founded on the idea that regardless of a youth's social background, they can learn to play an instrument and contribute to society.
Phillips explained that he will now be targeting the youth in the east of Tobago and the Collar Hall community.
I see this as a positive because we all know the problems and the social ills that we experience with youths. And I always say that if a youth is not doing something positive, well, of course, they are doing something that is negative. So again, we are very elated and excited to receive these instruments.
From the Division of Community Development and Culture, I'm Kimberly Job for Let's Talk Tobago.
We had a good time this week. Thank you, Speyside. See you again. It's now time for Have Your Say, and our question for you is, what can you do to be prepared in the event of a natural disaster? Let's take a look at who had their say this week.
A hurricane, you can prepare yourself like getting portable water and other things that would, you can store. In the event of an earthquake, it's difficult, but then again, you have to be prepared for eventualities.
You have your flashlights, you have food, a lot of canned stuff especially, non-perishable things that wouldn't spoil.
Water is the most important, right? So try to have clean water in covered containers, store water, right? Try to store tin stuff like canned stuff.
If you're living in a flooding area, you get your sand and you sand base your premises.
And start buying bottles of water, canned foods, batteries for the torchlights.
Make sure we roof secure if it's a hurricane. Well, if it's a tsunami or something, you look for the highest point.
The other thing that you could do, if you are informed prior to the disaster occurrence, right? Other than that, there's very little. If it comes unexpected, then we have to hope and pray.
The most you could do is stock up with food stocks and make sure you're safe and your family safe.
That's all for us on this edition of Let's Talk Tobago. We thank you for watching. Please email us if you have a comment or query about this program, and be sure to visit our website, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. From our house to yours, I'm Davia Chambers, along with the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, wishing you a safe and productive week. We close now with footage from an Asian cultural performance at Shaw Park Complex. We hope you enjoy.